Welcome everyone to another episode of the Straub Bros Sports Show. I'm Big Bro Ken, Little Bro Andrew. Little Bro, how you doing?
I am doing great. We don't, not a lot happened in sports this week, but the stuff that did happen was good, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh my goodness. Amazing games all around. Some of our teams are doing somewhat better than the other. My Kentucky Derby bets were amazing. I'm just gonna say that. But I will say we're gonna throw around and we're gonna let everybody in behind the scenes a little bit. Like Pop said, let's go. I was not ready until that music hit. This is one of the first weeks where I just long week for you, sir, as you start your big boy job. Welcome to the world of the working folk. But yeah, as soon as that music hit, I was ready. But man, before that, I wasn't sure about today. Now I'm ready to go though. Welcome everybody once again to the Straub Bros Sports Show here on the 216 Sports Network, the 216 Sports Network, where you can find all of us on Facebook and YouTube. All of us. You can like and subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow and like on Facebook. Putting up the graphic 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, the Jay Rich Show, who just dropped a new episode this week. Go check that out. The Rulers Minute with Rico McGee just dropped an episode last night. Check that out. Outside Interference and the Straub Bros Sports Show. The Straub Bros Sports Show, that's us. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS. We haven't dropped anything there in a couple weeks, bro. But there's something coming very, very soon. I got something fun coming with something else that we do on the show that'll be tying into the newest TikTok. Look out for that. We are also on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Straub Sports. And we're on Spotify, where you can catch up on anything that you may have missed. Or if you want to jump back to the beginning and check anything out. Also, we want to give a big shout out, Casey Productions, that we are on their Facebook and YouTube page as well. So if you're in there and you're like, who are these bros? Straub Bros. Welcome along. And as always, a big shout out to my guy, Austin Fink, Create Your Own Wave Apparel, for rocking with us again. As always, check them out on Instagram at Create Your Own Wave 2021. Definitely go check it out, because my guy Austin just did a photo shoot with some new gear that he's got coming out. Definitely go check that out, and check out the apparel at cyowapparel.myshopify.com. Anything else to shout out, bro, before we get rolling into the news? No? Okay, so let's get rolling into the news. Let's start in the NBA a little bit real quick. The Dallas Mavericks have signed Jason Kidd to an extension. That is with speculation that the Los Angeles Lakers were potentially looking to go and talk to him. I like it. Jason Kidd's been a good coach, and I don't blame the Lakers for trying to go get him either.
Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of thought his coaching tenure was kind of off a cliff when he lost that Bucks job, but this kind of is like a revitalization for him with the Mavericks. And now, hearing that the Lakers want him, it's a little weird kind of seeing that, but it's good for him, because that Mavs team is really good and really deserving of a coach like that.
Absolutely. You got some other. I agree. I was making fun of the spilled drink with the Yeti there. I don't know if anybody caught that. If you're not watching, you'd have no idea what I'm talking about. But that's not the only coaching news. Other than Darvin Ham getting fired by the Lakers, we got some other news. Yeah.
Yeah. So after just one season, the Suns have fired Frank Vogel. This comes after a very disappointing season for the Suns, and in one in which they didn't even make it past the first round. And so this now begs the question, what do the Suns do? You have a very aging roster. You have now an open coaching position. You can choose to blow it up. You could choose to try to hang on and see if Booker and Durant and Beal can give you something else. But it's not looking great, regardless of which direction you try to go in.
Is Doc Rivers available?
Almost.
Okay. Hey, listen, I have no idea. Well, of course. I'm just saying, I don't know what you do there. I really don't. I don't think that the whole thing is going to work. Yeah, it's absolutely rough. Good luck. Yeah, I have no idea. Straub, I'm gonna apologize in advance. I may have done something wrong. Somebody's telling me right now. Saying that the comments are not working on the Facebook page. So who knows? Oh no, well, no, I can get in there now. I don't know, Ray. Somebody was saying that the comments wasn't working, but I don't know. Maybe that's something I did wrong when I loaded up. That's why we don't have Big Bro load things up anymore. But let's switch to the other association real quick. The WNBA preseason has started. Major. And the WNBA did what the WNBA unfortunately has done a lot of times, and that is they immediately fumbled their bag off rip by not actually televising Angel Reese and Cordoza's first game. Yeah, pretty stupid there. A fan's phone live stream picked up over 1 million views. So shout out to that fan.
There we go.
Yeah, and there the comments are back. Mama's in. Yo, what's up? Ray just popped up too. What's up? Everybody? Thank you for coming in. And as always, and I'll jump back to the WNBA news. Always jump in the comments with us. Come rock with us. Give us your opinion. Tell us we're right. Tell us we're wrong. Crack some jokes with us. Whatever you want to do. Obviously, if you're running this back on Spotify, you can't throw it in the comments, but we'll read them to you. But as I said, the WNBA, they jacked that up. They did not put that on their streaming service, but they made up for it. Shout out to Caitlin Clark, 21-5 in her debut, making some poor girl trip and fall. Angel Reese went for 13-9. I also want to give another shout out to Angel Reese, who hit the Met Gala this week and then flew and dropped and beat the New York Liberty as well, and then tweeted everybody just to let them know that I went to New York and then I came back and beat New York. So shout out to our girls as they get ready to go there. Switching real quick to the women college, and this will be a throwaway because we've been talking about it on the show, so I'm going to do the update. Former UNC guard Deja Kelly transferred to Oregon. Sad face. I wanted that one. And John Calipari got his old player Adoyo Theoro, I think that's how you say that last name, to join him in Arkansas. Listen, I'm looking for this team to be good this year, but we'll see what happens. Never underestimate a man who gets refreshed by a new job and drinking Johnny Walker Blue with Jerry Jones.
Hey, fair enough.
Drew, you've got some NFL news, some not so good news first, and then you've got JJ Watt being JJ Watt.
Yeah, so first we have, for those that remember, which will probably be just Dad, former Broncos defensive coordinator Joe Collier has died at 91. For those that don't know, he was famous for his 20 years as defensive coordinator for the Broncos, in which they reached 3 Super Bowls and won 1, and was basically the pioneer, if not the pioneer, basically brought it to the forefront of the 3-4 defensive scheme with 3 linemen and 4 linebackers. This was really done because he had a lack of linemen after some injuries, and literally would spend nights just scheming up ways to get this to work. And now 3-4 is basically the second most common scheme in all of the NFL. So, props to him. Obviously he tortured Browns fans for a while, but obviously a great career, and it's sad to see him pass.
100% rest in peace. Much love to his family and his loved ones.
Yes, but let's go to some better news. Some funny news, I think.
Get to JJ Watt being a tool. I love JJ Watt. I love him, JJ Watt. But get to JJ Watt being a tool.
So JJ Watt on, I don't remember which podcast it was. It might have been McAfee's show. Had
it could be ours. JJ Watt, come holla at us.
On a podcast, was quoted as saying that if they absolutely needed it, JJ Watt would return and play for the Texans this year. Ken, he obviously was one of the most dominant linemen of all time. Does he still got it?
Hey, listen, Notre Dame college soccer team. If you still need me, I got 2 years of eligibility left. If you know, you know. If you get that joke, it's even funnier if you do. I got 2 years of eligibility left. I always joke when a Notre Dame kicker misses a field goal. I got 2 years of eligibility left. Come on, we can make it happen. Seriously. JJ, go back to just owning a football team and an actual football team, a soccer team, and annoying me when you show up on Premier League TV. because you have no idea what you're talking about. But based on, and I can't believe I'm going to say this because I heard him on our EPL morning show talking to Rebecca Lowe. He said he was still pretty much on his NFL player's diet and workout regimen. So maybe I don't know. I think it's dumb. Once you've known you walk football, it's a little different. That physical of a game, JJ, you walked away to go be with your family and your kids. Walk away and go be with your family and your kids. Okay, don't do the Brady thing. But yeah, whatever. You got some NFL signings for me. Run through them real quick.
Signings for you. Real quick, Tyler Boyd has signed a 1-year deal with the Titans to really bolster that wide receiver room even more now. The Panthers have signed running back Rashad Penny, which I think is a pretty decent signing for a veteran running back. It's also weird to say veteran because this is one of the players that I remember seeing drafted, which is one of the first times that I've seen this now. So it's kind of weird. Chase Claypool has signed with the Bills, so they finally get a receiver that they desperately need.
I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily going to help, but man, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of trying to still believe in Chase Claypool, but I really thought he was going to be good.
Speaking of a player that, we're still trying to have faith in, Odell Beckham Jr. has signed with the Dolphins to add a third receiver to that pretty good wide receiver room, but obviously this is a wide receiver who is getting up there and really hasn't, produced as much as when he, came into the league. And so we'll see if he has anything left.
Man, Odell Beckham Jr. living on that catch. Seriously. He went from living on that catch to living on the first half of a Super Bowl now. It is ridiculous. Yeah. But go ahead, keep getting that money. And now here, I'll give it. Ray shouted it out. Gable Stevenson is getting offers from teams too. If you don't know who Gable Stevenson is, he's a monster. An NCAA national championship champion wrestler, Olympian, just an all-around monster. I have the privilege of working at my regular job next to the former Aurora wrestling coach. My guy Mike is plugged in all around the wrestling scene. He wrestled himself at Clemson, but Mike talks about Gable Stevenson all the time. But he was also in the WWE, but he was released there. So who knows what this kid's gonna do? I would go to the MMA if I was him, but right, unless that's it. If they're gonna pay it, take it. But sure, yeah, I'd go MMA. But hey, that's me. All good there.
All right, I got 2 more bits of news for you.
All right. And then I've got breaking news for the people.
Yes. First, from Browns fans, we'll reminisce on this somewhat fondly. Duke Johnson has retired. Former Browns and Houston running back. He has finally retired. Decent NFL season, was really the workhorse during those struggling years with the Browns. And then needed more touches, so left elsewhere, which was completely understandable. But hey, a good, decently long NFL career, and congrats on your retirement.
100%. I would listen. I know we make fun of each other a lot, but we also go back and forth and have some fun with each other's teams. But nobody knows more Browns players, okay, other than Browns fans than me, because I watch your guys' games all the time. And when growing up, I couldn't always watch the Cowboys. I mean, even though they're always on TV. But Duke was a monster, man. I'm not gonna lie. Duke had heart. Absolutely, 100%. Shout out to you. I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer, but listen, so what? I mean, who cares? Duke's a good guy. Duke will make a Browns Hall of Fame or something, or I don't know. Okay, all right. Hey, listen, I tried. Giving him a shout.
The Hall of Very Good in Browns fans' eyes.
I like that. So he's not in the Dog Pound Hall of Fame. He'll be in like the Section 400 Key Bank Hall of Fame. I like the Progressive Hall of Fame. There we go. Whatever.
All right.
You ready to break some news for the people, Drew?
Well, let me do one more thing real quick.
Oh, you still got one more. My bad. I apologize. Yes. I'm ready.
Yes. So you mentioned John Calipari in Arkansas. We have some Arkansas news, surprisingly. Former MLB player Monte Harris, who is currently 28, plans to walk on to the Arkansas Razorbacks football team and try out as I want to say receiver. Now, he played about, I want to say a couple dozen games for 2 or 3 MLB teams, so it's not like he's this big star. But this is one of the first times that we've seen something like this where we have obviously seen football players transfer to the MLB, but MLB players transferring to football, specifically college football, is really unheard of.
And I can't believe I cut you off to miss my favorite story of the week. Number one. Number two, let me help boss pay the bills. If you do love our show or any of our network shows and you're on Facebook and you do the stars, send us stars. We're here for you. We appreciate you. But this is awesome. The one thing I will say, and I kind of been reading what everybody else's thoughts have been and listening what everybody else's thoughts has been. And the one thing I kept hearing, or the one thing I did hear, and I kind of agreed with, he's a grown man, remember? So like if his in 28, it's not, football's hard, don't get me wrong, like, but you can still be a great athlete at 28 years old. So especially when you haven't put the wear and tear of football miles on your body. No offense, I mean, you were a baseball player, and I love baseball. You don't put as much wear and tear on your legs as you do in baseball or basketball or football. Just saying. This is going to be fun. I think he could be good. I think this could work. If he's a good athlete, he's going to dominate 18-year-old kids. Like, that's just what it comes down to. Like,
until the Bama safety comes and actually decks him,
I mean, that'll be Georgia, but
the first round safety, going 3 overall, taking his knees out.
Oh, 100%. It's fun though. I'm here for this. Don't let this dude make a touchdown or he's automatically Straub Bro of the week. I'm just putting it out there.
100%.
Okay. All right. I've got 7 to give away a week. I can absolutely slot this guy in. But all right. Yeah. So that's awesome. All right. Now can I go?
Yes.
Now can I break some news for the people? And I even put my little thing up. Breaking news. So this is awesome. This is 100% awesome. The Straub Bros Sports Show is now officially partnering with NPSL's Akron FC to to cover them, do some work with them, preseason interviews, some stuff during the games, game day coverage, live coverage, some post-game interviews, pretty much everything kind of in between and all of the above. We're going to do some segments here on the show. We're going to do some solo shows just for them. There is a big social media announcement that will be coming. Stay tuned for that. As soon as Akron FC on their end kind of writes up all of the details and how they want to kind of put it together, it will be there. We'll be sharing it all over the network and all over our page and his page and the Twitter page and the TikTok and the Facebook and the Instagram at Straub Bros Sports Show. You can follow us there as well. Anywhere that you can find the show, you're going to see it. We are beyond excited for this, to be working with them and partnering with them. Listen, we force you to listen to the footy. We force feed you the footy. Slow down, boss. We have no problems making you come along with the fact that me and my brother love soccer so much. So the fact that we as a show now get to partner with somebody and do that, just kind of like we did with the Cleveland Crunch, but this one a little bit more official. You'll be able to actually come take a picture with our logo at the Akron FC games. It'll be on one of the posters. So a lot of fun things ahead for us in terms of Akron FC. Absolutely. Right, Drew?
I am beyond excited for this. This is kind of one of the things that you look forward to and you want to do. And when you first imagine doing the show, doing something like this as a collaboration is something that we wanted from day one, and to get something like this is beyond exciting. And so I am so excited to start this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pops. We appreciate that. And we appreciate that, Ray. But I'm not done. I am not done. Since we are here, we're going to throw it out here as well. The Straub Bros Sports Show will also officially be partnering and covering Cleveland SC of the NPSL as well. How exactly in-depth that particular coverage is going to be kind of still up in the air. We're going to same thing though. We're going to try to do some preseason interviews when in the first game, Akron's and Cleveland, they play each other. Both me and little bro will be there together, covering that. Akron FC's home opener is May 25th. I will be there myself for that one. May 18th is the first game. Akron versus Cleveland SC. Both Straub Bros will be in attendance there. Now, we haven't exactly worked out details together, but for the most part, just because it kind of works out easier for both of us, Drew will kind of be handling kind of more of Cleveland SC. I will kind of be handling more of Akron FC. Akron FC is 15 minutes away from me. Cleveland FC is about 15 minutes away from Drew. So it works out beautiful for both of us. Obviously, during both Akron Cleveland games together, we're both going to be there together. Anytime our schedules can match up and we can both be there, we both will be. But Straub Bros Sports Show, absolutely holding down all of your coverage of Ohio soccer. And it's not just, hold on, I'm going to pause. I'm going to give us any more thoughts on Cleveland SC coming aboard as well.
Oh, listen, that just it's
rinse and repeat
having
what you
your
just
cake
said.
and eating it too. It's absolutely phenomenal. And listen, I know it's going to be a lot of content. I know people are going to be really excited about it, and I'm ready to make it. It's going to be an amazing time, especially this summer. We're gonna be pumping out way more than we normally do. We're gonna be really in depth on these stuff, and I cannot wait for people to see what we have in store for this.
100%. And yeah, 216 Sports Network, we got to give a big shout out to Mel, working out some of the details with Cleveland for us. And I want to give a shout out to Nick at Akron FC, who we've been talking back and forth with continued discussions back and forth there. This is a big thing for us. We're absolutely excited to be a part of it. I guess since you brought up the summer, I'll sprinkle it in since, we're going to talk about it. Obviously, as we get into these summer months, the playoffs are pretty much going to be all we have other than baseball. And even then when the playoffs are done, just baseball for a little bit as we start to rev up for college. This show started, and we just completed our 40th episode the other day too. We started in October of last year, so smack dab in the middle of the college football season. So we didn't get to do a proper preseason. We didn't have a proper summer. But this summer, big time on the footy for us. Footy Fridays will probably be a thing that will come back where basically me and Drew pop in the day before because most of these games are going to be on Saturdays with Akron and Cleveland. Me and Drew will probably pop in on a Friday, give you a rundown of what's going on in the MLS, and then give you a preview of both of these games and go from there. But then we're going to have full-blown college football previews, breaking down conferences and stuff like that. So we've got big things coming for you this summer on the Straub Bros Sports Show. But absolutely good to break some news before anybody could break it for us because Fabricio was on our tail and so was Schefter. But Footy Friday, baby. Footy Friday. Okay. Now let's hand out some awards, bro.
Yes.
It is time for your honorary Straub Bro of the Week, brought to you once again by Create Your Own Wave. Don't ride the wave, create your own wave, and become a Straub Bro of the Week. Shout out to my guy Austin. Bro, lead us off.
Yes, and sticking with the theme, my honorary Straub Bro, or Straub Bros, but it's a main theme here, is some teams in the Open Cup. And like people have heard me rant many a times on this podcast about the Open Cup, MLS has allowed their teams to opt out of the Open Cup, the American Cup tournament between all levels of American soccer. So the MLS allows some of the teams to send their youth teams so they will not overexert their players. However, they continue to host tournaments like Leagues Cup, which is a month-long tournament in which the MLS games are stopped, and MLS teams play Liga MX teams in Mexico, even though they already do that in the Champions Cup. So this always bothers me. But I respect the teams that do play in the tournament. However, my Straub Bros of the Week are not the teams that stayed in the tournament, but the USL teams, the league below, that beat those MLS teams, because that is the only chance that they have to prove that they can compete with the top teams, because there's no promotion relegation in America. So my first Straub Bro of the Week, Detroit City FC. They beat the Houston Dynamo on penalties after coming back down from 2-0 to win 10-9 in penalties. And New Mexico United put a whooping on Western Conference leaders Real Salt Lake 4-2. Absolutely amazing performances for them. I love seeing those kind of teams come up and beat those massive teams, especially when there is no opportunity like in England or like anywhere else to get promoted to play those teams. This is the only chance they have. So it's an amazing thing to see. And they are my Straub Bros of the week.
This is hilarious because my Straub Bros of the week are also kind of dominated by some footy. So this is actually kind of funny, but we'll mix this all in. Was that you got yours in? You're good?
I only get one. I follow by the rules here.
And I appreciate that. First of all, one of my Straub Bros of the week is just the playoffs. Every day when your nephew goes to bed, a little bit before he goes to bed because he starts watching them with me. But pretty much every day before he goes or after he goes to bed, I got at least 2 hockey games, 2 basketball games, mix in a Guardians game. Heaven. Absolutely heaven. I know it's not college football every day and football every day, so some people are like, oh, it's a bad time. No, it's an amazing time in sports. It never stops when you're a sports junkie. My second Straub Bro of the week, Marco Ruiz, Borussia Dortmund forward, lifelong Borussia Dortmund player, for getting to play the last game of his illustrious career at Wembley Stadium for the Champions League final. More on that to come. Shout out to you, Tyler. Also, us, Straub. We are Straub Bros of the week. Why? Because all things soccer in the state of Ohio you can find on the Straub Bros Sports Show. You want to talk about Cleveland FC? We're going to talk about it. You want to talk about Akron FC? I got episodes coming up. You want to talk about the 5-time champion Cleveland Crunch? Go check out the 4 episodes of Crunch Time and all of the interviews we did. You want to talk about the Columbus Crew in Cincinnati FC? Hang around a little bit for the footy time. Do you want to talk about Champions League? Do you want to talk about EPL? We got it covered. Do you want to talk about our Americans abroad? We got it covered. Nobody covers soccer better than the Straub Bros Sports Show. I don't care. Come for us, and I want all the smoke. Straub Bros of the week are us. Thank you, Mel, for the hookup with Cleveland FC. Also, I want to give a special shout out since we've been talking about it, and then we will move on and get to other sports. Akron FC selected to compete in the USASA Men's National Amateur Cup. Cannot wait to be there and be covering that. Also, no, that was it. Sorry, I had 2 different notifications on Twitter for that one because they had tagged us in that one. So shout out to Akron FC. We'll be covering that one as well. Whew. And yes, it's not a Straub Bro of the week, but the hockey brawl was pretty awesome. A bunch of them were. But yes. And Mel threw it back in the chat, so I would have. Nobody covers soccer like us. Straub Bros got you covered. Nobody covers basketball like this network. Listen to everything that Jay's got going on the Jay Rich Show. And just in general, boxing all over the place, football. You go and check out the Rulers Minute and the Straub Bros Sports Show. Whew! Enough self-promotion. I've been talking about us too much. This feels weird. It feels gross. All right. Time to let them know. It's time to talk some Cavaliers, and it is time to talk some NBA playoffs, bro.
Yes.
Let's here, I'll get my graphic out of the way. We'll get this out of the way. Cavaliers got smoked.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
That's an understatement.
This team obviously struggles away from the home, so that's no surprise here. But Boston looks exactly how we thought Boston was going to look like. They killed us at the 3-point line. We really didn't space the floor too well, and it was just one of those games where Boston was ready. They were amped. The stadium was rocking, and we didn't check them soon enough, and this is what happens.
So I had some fun on Facebook because I absolutely threw the season away about halftime or right before
Sounds
halftime
about right.
of the Game 7 against Orlando. But I ate some crow for it, but I responded to everybody, and everybody had some fun with me who did it because I said it's time to blow it up. They're not making adjustments. They don't coach very well. They're not coached very well sometimes. I love JB Bickerstaff, but it just is what it is. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell can't play together. They don't work together. Evan Mobley is supposed to be a superstar, a unicorn, all of those things. And I've yet to see the jump, and I've yet to see him make that leap yet. This team is too reliant on the fourth option on their team to be in a game to be able to beat certain teams and Jared Allen, and that's just not working. And then when you get to playoff basketball and your number 1 and 2 options are always going to be covered and always going to kind of have a guy in their face and an extra guy lingering, it comes down to, as Shaq calls them, the others. And our others are Isaac Okoro and Max Strus, who Isaac Okoro can't really shoot very well. He's a defensive player, but he's also an undersized guard. And Max Strus is a streaky player. And yes, as absolutely whoever has the ball is just expected to create. As Ray said, we run no real offense. I mean, yeah, it's 100% true. It's just Darius Garland, your turn, and Donovan Mitchell, your turn. And no offense, when that's, we used to joke about that being the offense the Miami Heat used to run. Here, LeBron, your turn. Here, Dwayne, it's your turn. That's a whole different ballgame when it gets downgraded to Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. And that's no disrespect to either of those players.
No, you're absolutely
Saying
right.
they're not Dwayne Wade and not LeBron James is not disrespect. I'm just saying that we need a better run offense.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think so. Obviously, we talk about, Garland and Mitchell not being cohesive, and we talk about Mobley not, bringing it offensively. This honestly, and that is true. Like, Mobley has looked streaky offensively. Garland and Mitchell really do have no cohesion on the floor. But these players by themselves are great players. I think the issue comes down to is there is just a lack of knowledge on how to use these types of players. Like, obviously, Mobley is one of the best defensive players in the playoffs right now. He is absolutely destroying it on the defensive end.
He has more blocks himself, I think, than any other team.
Right. So, but then when you look at his offensive side, there's really no sets that are run for him. You're not seeing like Mobley get through a screen, pick up DOT, and then have like a mismatch. You're not seeing that where you see that with a Wemby or a Chet. I think there is just a lack of like what Ray said, there's a lack of a real offensive style being run where it's really just kind of giving it to your star player, trying to make him collapse the defense and throwing it out to a second, third, fourth option. And so that's where, while I understand, these players are really playing below their caliber, I think this really has to do with some of the schemes and some of the coaching that we've talked about since we've started picking up basketball, where JB really doesn't feel like he has any adjustments or any cohesive scheme when he runs this offense.
They don't fit. This team doesn't fit. Darius Garland would be great in Phoenix as their point guard. He would be great. Donovan Mitchell would be great with this team if his other guard was Isaac Okoro at 6'5" or 6'4". You know what I mean? This team doesn't fit, and I get it. Here's why. The team with Sexton and Lauri Markkanen and Darius Garland and Mobley and Allen, in their eyes, it reached its peak. I agree the way that's set up. I used to argue with my buddy, my lifelong friend, Martell, all the time because he didn't like Colin Sexton. And we all kind of look back and think we may have traded the wrong guard. Maybe we should have traded Darius Garland. We should have kept Colin Sexton the way Sexton has played a little bit in Utah and the way Markkanen's played. That team reached its ceiling. So they said, okay, we got to do something. So they went out and turned up Markkanen and Sexton into something that was better. Any of your criticism you want of Donovan Mitchell, he is better than what those two players were. You went and got what you think is an alpha, a guy who can put the team on the back. The problem is I don't actually believe that that's what Donovan Mitchell is. I think he needs someone else too. I think he has to have one other guy with him. But I don't blame the Cavaliers for trying to make this trade. They made this team better. This team is better than it was with the previous roster, but I think this team is starting to reach its max too. I don't think that this team can win the way it's constructed. The problem is the asset that you want to keep, Donovan Mitchell, you can't keep because he does not want to be here.
See, I get what your point is, but I think we've seen a greater peak than what we're seeing currently in the playoffs. We've seen this team be a lot better than what we're seeing. And so I think that honestly, I think while you might in all reality be right that this team can only go so far and there are massive issues, but I think that there's something to be said where it's possible that this current head coach just doesn't know how to utilize this group of players, and maybe it's a possibility that you go find someone that can work with this group of players, and then if it doesn't work out, then we start spreading our assets out and we go find stuff. But I think it's too early to say that this just doesn't work, because it's just too early to say that this group of players that just kind of got formed, especially this bench that just kind of got formed this season, doesn't work when you definitely have a coach that we have said time and time again. It's not like it's a Pop or a Ty Lue that can
No,
kind of
I get
run
it.
those different things.
And listen,
I think you go and find a head coach, you try it one more season. If it still doesn't work, then you go, okay, this just isn't working.
and I get that, I'll disagree with what Mel said. No, it's the least best kept secret in the league. It's the least kept secret in the league that Donovan Mitchell wants to go play in a bigger market. It's okay. Like I don't think it is what it is. But I'm okay with getting a new coach and running this back. I think the thing I'm not necessarily like here's what it comes down to, and then we're gonna move on from just the Cavaliers, so we don't just blow this whole NBA playoff conversation with just Cavaliers talk. But and yeah, we did mention that Jason Kidd had resigned. I see Mel mentioned it in the comments. You in the playoffs, everybody's guarded, half court sets. Individuals have to make tough shots. Donovan Mitchell can do that, but your team needs one more guy. Jokic don't even do it by himself. Okay, man. All right,
As you can see.
Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, like other guys make shots. The problem for the Cavaliers right now is Darius Garland on a championship team. Okay, a team that is winning a championship. Darius Garland has to be C option. Okay. Right now, the Cavaliers are forcing him into a B, sometimes an A option when Mitchell is not on the floor. In the playoffs, it rears its head. It shows it doesn't work. Evan Mobley, back to that conversation. If you were ever going to make a jump and be the superstar that everybody believed that you could be and provide that B scoring, sometimes an A minus, and help kind of always make sure Darius Garland doesn't have to do too much, that Max Strus doesn't have to do too much, that Jared Allen and Isaac Okoro on the offensive end don't have to do too much. If you can allow those guys to focus on the defensive end, that's when this team could actually really, really make some noise. But I don't think you have enough time to get Mitchell signed up for that long to make it work. So I don't know what to do for them. However, you're also facing Boston. Even without Porzingis, we don't have Allen. It's not looking good with the way they're shooting. And I know they play well at home. I picked the Celtics in 5. I don't see how it goes longer than that. I think the Cavaliers would have to put up a phenomenal effort. It's not that it's not possible, but
yeah. Hey, we'll see tonight.
Absolutely. We will see tonight. 8:00 tip-off time, I do believe that is. Moving on to the other series in the East, New York Knicks up 2-0 over Indiana. This series has been plagued by just horrific officiating all around. Both teams, it has really screwed over Indiana in some of the late game situations. I would also kind of look at Indiana and be like, damn, can you stop playing the entire game like it's a fast break on NBA? And I'm going to date myself big time here, like it's NBA Street. Like seriously, if they could slow down a little bit in a half court offense, it may be better late game situations. But the Knicks are just battling through.
The Knicks are doing what the Knicks do. And I will say the only reason why I think Indiana is doing this is because the Knicks, especially that style of defense, just pressure the crap out of you. And the only way you get room is by doing that kind of fast break offense. But the Knicks have done what they did against Philadelphia, against us last year in the playoffs. It is one of those teams that is just so hardwired to annoy you that they are forcing the Pacers to play differently, but also the refs to officiate differently because it is naturally more physical and it is much harder. I'm not saying that that I'm giving them a pass, but it's much harder to officiate that type of defense, especially in the playoffs. And so the Knicks are taking advantage of it. That's what they do every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And they are beating up on a team that honestly, when we looked at this in the beginning of the year, probably wasn't supposed to be here.
Indiana?
Like at this far, at least in the stage.
No, yeah, I don't disagree with you there. Obviously they weren't supposed to make it past Milwaukee, but Milwaukee obviously banged up there. But I mean, the Jalen Brunson has really emerged as a dude. Like he really has, and I think that deserves a lot of credit. I think Cavaliers fans, hey, it wasn't just you. It wasn't just us that the Knicks bullied around. So don't take it personal. The problem I think is you want to talk about a team that is not deep. The Knicks aren't even close to being deep. So they're
As
one
said
more
by
injury.
this right here.
Yeah, 48 minutes in 3 straight games. Like that dude is really good, man. That dude is really good. Clutch.
Crazy how to change of scenery does something for you, you know?
Absolutely. And they've got some guys who played and won a national championship with each other in college, which is also really big. There was a specific play on a fast break. I'm getting my Tim Legler, Dan Orlovsky, gonna break the plays down. There was like a fast break play for New York, and it was the two Villanova guys. And literally, he stopped. He did like a fake little shimmy move and spun it right back, like through the lane to a guy. And it was like, oh, these dudes have been doing this since not just college, but to dudes on the playground, guys when they would show up to the gym who thought they could hoop with each other or hoop against them, like that. It was that type of chemistry. So that's what happens there. Shift over to the West Coast.
Yeah.
Western Conference. Well, here I was gonna say this. We'll bring up OKC first. That's that game or that second game of that series doesn't tip off again until Friday. Luka is compromised for Dallas, and that's huge. He said himself that he wouldn't be right until the offseason. So unless he's gonna warrior through this and Kyrie is gonna turn into Golden State Cavaliers series NBA Finals Kyrie, I don't. This might not go 5. This might only go 5. Because OKC is that good defensively, and they're locked in.
Yeah, this is one of those ones where you kind of look at both sides of each conference, and you look at the 1 seed, and you go, I don't know if either team is going to make a series out of this because OKC is so consistent, and Dallas, like you said, is banged up, and Boston is just straight up just not refusing to look bad at all. Yeah. And so if you're looking at that, you think that the Mavs would make more of a series than maybe the Cavs would, but without Luka, I don't even know if you could say that right now. So OKC and Boston looking really good, but hey, listen, you never know with this kind of stuff.
Like even with Jared Allen healthy, we would still probably be saying Boston in 6, okay, at max. Healthy Luka and Kyrie on fire, we're going Dallas in 7. Like it's a totally different ball game. So that's a tough one there. Our other series that's turning potentially not to be into a series. It's time to talk about Michael Jordan Jr. Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves up 2-0 on your defending champion Denver Nuggets. Wow. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna step back from the mic. The media is talking about it, and then you watch it, and it's hard not to compare this guy to Kobe and Jordan, as everybody has started to do. As I am the only one on this show of the two of us who actually got to watch both of them. Some of the end of Michael, the end of Bulls Michael, Wizard Michael, all of Kobe's career. Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace, JG. Shout out to me for getting us tickets to Kobe's last game in Cleveland. Looking back now, I'm even more glad I did that for us. Back to my point. This is real, man. Like that dude. And if he continues this run and this trajectory, like, yeah, he could be that good. And here's the thing. He's already got his Pippen. If Cat continues to play like this, he's already got his Pippen, and he's only in his 3rd year in the NBA.
Dude, this is like, and like I said, they're not just beating the defending champs. They stomped them in game 2 to take a 2-0 lead, both games being in Denver, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, like you said, Anthony Edwards averaging 35 points, Cat's averaging 23 and a half. Rudy Gobert isn't playing right now. He was hurt, so he couldn't play. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Time out, and I apologize in advance if we go viral and we get yelled at. First of all, Rudy Gobert. I want to address Rudy Gobert. Actually, not Rudy Gobert. I want to address Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas came out and criticized Rudy Gobert for not playing in game 2 because Rudy Gobert went home to be with his wife and his child who was just born. Apparently, the child had been born before the game, but Rudy chose to go home, and Gilbert Arenas criticized him for it. And I don't like, I have to like hold back because I don't want to be like the guy yelling at people for like how they parent their kids. But like, man, dude, like, tell me you're not a good dad without telling me you're not a good dad. Like, that's almost what that sounds like. I'm sorry. Like, don't be at the birth or around the birth of your child. Like, I'm sorry, these are games, man. And like, if it was your kid's gonna be there when you're done, the basketball was gonna be there when he was done. Like, if it was game 7, I might actually be like, did you get to see him already? Did you? Like, okay, no, all right, okay, that's fine. But like, you already were there for a day. All right, you sure you can't dip out for 3 hours and then come home? And even that could be criticized. But dude, game 2 in the 2nd round, go home and be with your family. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm sorry. So I got no room for that criticism. Shout out to you, Rudy Gobert. Holy crap, this Wolves team.
Yeah, and like I said, we're talking about this Wolves team, and listen, look on the Denver side. Jokic is doing his best, but he's getting no help. Like Jamal Murray was the catalyst in that LA series. He is nowhere to be found in this series now.
Clamps.
It is absolutely.
Should he have been suspended for throwing the towel and throwing the knee pad on the court? No, I disagree. I think he should have. I think he should have for this. Here's why. I got 2 reasons. Number 1, it wasn't one time. So the whole thing of like, hey man, like, yes, he did it, but like it was one. No. He threw the towel first, and the ball boy or whoever it was went and got it, and the ref didn't see it. He then threw the knee pad after it onto the court, where like I said, and here's what sold it for me was when I'm listening to Get Up and you got Tim Legler, but then you have and of course I literally had his name and I just lost it. You have the NBA player who blew out his knee at Chicago when he was drafted by Chicago.
Yeah.
He never had a chance to play. He said somebody could have stepped on that and twisted an ankle, sprained a knee. Like, come on. I'm sorry. If it was one of them, that's fine. But once it was 2, and then they got away with their coach not getting a technical foul when he's literally on the court running after the official. But then last night we had Rick Carlisle, or I'm sorry, Rick Carlisle thrown out of the game for 2 technicals during some horrific officiating that Indiana's getting hosed with. Like, it has been a mess.
Yeah, but like, okay, in my opinion, right, if this is a regular season game, I could see it. Fine the crap out of him or suspend him for the beginning of the season. It's the playoffs. It is a game that is a tough sell for me unless you do something egregious.
All right, so here's 2 points. I'll give you what they brought up on Get Up, and then I'll give you a different another thing. First of all, and shout out to Mama, she corrected me, and then she even hit me on the watch to make sure I corrected myself. Cavs start at 7, not 8, so we may run in a little bit to the end of that. We'll try to kind of finish up before them, so everybody can get rolling and we can watch them too. Should they have done what they kind of did with Robbie Alomar, and they have done in other sports where they suspended him into next year, let him roll through the playoffs? And possibly, my man's got to have a game check fine. That's got to be a game check. He was fined. He was fined like what he would make in like a quarter or so, like 20 minutes or something. My man's got to get hit with a game check for 2 of those throws. But all right, so Denver better get it together. We will find out. Are they tonight? No, I don't know. I have to double check. But that'll do it for your NBA playoffs. When we check in next week, some of these series might actually be over already, but we will see. It's time to get frozen. It pretty much is kind of outside up here in Cleveland. It's been cold and rainy and like 40 degrees, and that is your NHL playoffs. Bro, we got the best damn thing in sports at the end of the first round. I want to give it a shout out, and that is Game 7, sudden death overtime. There's nothing better in sports. Shout out to the Boston and Toronto for giving us that game. What Boston had moving on. Hey, bro, the NHL had their lottery draft as well.
Yes, and the San Jose Sharks won it. They get the number 1 pick in the NHL draft. San Jose, what they it's been a minute since they were really super prominent. So let's hope for them that they get this. But listen, that's that. We'll get on that later on the line. I want to focus on these playoffs because there has been some great games.
As I said, I don't miss the hockey playoffs. And so I get familiar with some names that I already know and hear throughout the season, but I get going. We can talk about the first series, Florida and Boston. These two, Boston ran up on Florida in game 1, and then started to get some revenge for last year, where they were the number 1 team during the regular season, broke all kinds of records, most points, most wins, and then got dumped in the first round by Florida. Then come game 2, the exact opposite. Florida put a butt whooping 6-1 on Boston. And then during the end of the game, there was a big old scrap, big old fight with 2 big prominent players, Matthew Tkachuk of the Florida Panthers and Pasternak of the Boston Bruins. Kind of 2 of your stars throwing hands, which really doesn't happen if you're not the biggest hockey guy in terms of names. Kind of be like if Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin were back in the day throwing hands, and they usually just don't kind of do that stuff. But that's a fun series right now. So far, did you watch that game last night?
So I watched that game, and I admit that is a fun game. But I want to talk about this Rangers Hurricane series.
Yeah, the Rangers are up 2-0.
Oh my God. They're up 2-0, but both were at home. Both were 4-3 games, with the game 2 going to double overtime. Obviously, the Rangers are favored, but it's coming back to Carolina now. Carolina could easily win both of these games coming back, and it could be 2-2 and all square going into game 5. That is honestly my favorite series right now because both those teams are so fun to watch. Good Lord.
Absolutely. I mean, you stole it from me because I was hoping you would say something else about the other series so I could steal the Rangers thunder. Yeah, this is like I said, these hockey playoffs are fun. If you turn on one of the games and it's 3-0 in the first period, do not turn it off. I promise you. It'll be 3-2, 3-3 at some point, midway through the second, because they are lots of fun. But yeah, this could easily be 2-2 coming back. But this Rangers team is resilient, and they do not like to lose, as you see, even in double overtime. That was an amazing game. I watched that one. Moving on here, Dallas Stars and Colorado Avalanche. Colorado thundered back to take a game in overtime as well, to take a 1-0 series.
Stole that game.
Yeah, Stars got, and here's why I mentioned what I mentioned. Stars got out to an early 2-0 lead in that game. I fell asleep at some point, I think. So I missed the end of that one, had to catch up on that. But yeah, these games are not over with. As you see in the last one too, Edmonton came back, or I'm sorry, Vancouver took game 1 5-4 over Edmonton. Like I said, just back and forth on the hockey. I can't tell you who's going to win, okay? But I can tell you it's going to be a fun ride.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it. We saved them for last. The best for last, baby. It is time to guard the land. Let's talk about our Cleveland Guardians. It got a little rocky. It got a little rocky.
Yeah.
Stephen Kwan has been moved to the DL with a hamstring injury. They brought Manzardo up. He got his first hit yesterday. The pitching is starting to look a bit rocky. The bullpen's been getting touched a little bit. Jose's been struggling a little bit. I would say kind of more come back to earth, kind of like this team has. Just 2.5 up in the Central. Although that may have changed with the 2 wins against Detroit. I'm not 100% sure when I did. Oh, you got
Wow.
it for me, my guy. That's what I'm
Two and a
talking about.
half.
Yeah, 2.5. So yeah, still 2.5 in the Central.
Just
Josh,
to give a little thing, the Rangers do not have 122 wins. That is my bad. They have 22 wins.
hey, I mean, they might have 122. No, I'm just playing.
I just noticed that as I put it
Yeah,
up there.
hey, that's all right. That's all right. Josh Naylor is still him though. Throughout all of this, my man is kind of single handedly kind of still carrying us. Talk to me.
Yeah, listen, I know, it's
I know
kind of looking
I
a
just
little
rained
scary.
all over that. I know, like there was no
I know it looks
optimism
scary,
in there.
but hey, we have the second best record in the AL right now,
Mm-hmm.
and Jose Ramirez breaking out of his slump these past couple games just broke Larry Dopey's club record for go-ahead home runs in a career. Ken's giving you the negativity. I'm giving you reason for hope. We got some guys injured, but they will come back. We have honestly a kind of easy May, if I'm being completely honest. So I am not completely upset about this stretch. I am wary about it, and hopefully it doesn't continue. But I think that we're at least going to make through this, couple months where we have some injuries. We're gonna stay up where we are. We might not do as well as we started, but we're gonna kind of stay in that rhythm, in that kind of lead in the Central.
I know, and listen, home run pitch is back. And then to answer this question, my guy, yeah, shoot us a message, hit us in the DMs. Always open. Yeah, I know, but still, we knew this was going to happen eventually. The problem
Yeah.
for this team is we have no Bieber. This was going to happen eventually. As I watch MLB Tonight every night on the other TV, and they show that graphic of the best records in the league, and then we just keep going down and keep going down and keep going down. I'm like, I knew it was going to happen. But here's something I do want to talk about because you mentioned Jose. 7 walks in 6 games for Jose, leading the team in at bats, which that's still a tough one for me. Like I told you how much I wanted him to kind of have some days off, but some of those have been some DH at bats. Problem going forward though, Quan not being healthy, like that's going to be
Yeah.
an issue going forward. And when he comes back, first of all, I want to get thanks, Ray. He picked up Marzado on his fantasy team because you guys, we appreciate you. Hey,
I
your
said
fault.
no. So don't
Right,
put that
listen,
on me.
I know.
I said to wait.
Put that on Nick, who's currently in an airport in Florida right now. Shout out to you, my guy. I don't know if he's tuned back in yet. He was going to try and jump in while he was either in pre-show or pre-flight or post-flight. But the averages on this team is a problem, just in general. If you now take if you take Quan out, we do not have a regular starter batting over 300. David Fry's at 327, but he's about 80 at bats under what
Yeah.
majority of those other starters are at. And that's about 11 games worth of baseball. Josh Naylor, 271, Andre Jimenez, 270. That's you want to play winning ball, you want to win. You gotta do better than that. But here's the one thing I do want to point this out: winning in the division. 5-1. I'm sorry, now 6-1 against the Central from when I wrote this up because of the win again last night, the walk off against Detroit. 11-5 against the West. Hey, you got to beat up on the bad teams. Still 6-4 against the East, and that was with a series against Boston, 2 against Boston, 1 against New York, 1-2 in interleague play, and it's kind of a wash. So continue to win in the division, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You know what, Ray? He got a home run the other day, though. And Ray throwing out there, he said he can hit better than Austin
And
Hedges.
Laureano did too. I don't.
Ray, don't turn this into the Brian Scalabrine episode where he's dunking on these dudes. All right, don't do it. So, all right. Anything else on the Guardians?
Nothing on the Guardians. Just to show up some NL stats as well because we put up the
Let's
AL
talk
stats.
about the National League a little bit.
The Phillies are absolutely just running roughshod through everybody. The Dodgers are back to form, and the Central still kind of looks really weak.
I mean, it's not good. It's
The
not
Reds
good.
also have lost 8 in a row. So
I also want to point out, not just the Phillies are good, they're fun.
they are
They're
fun.
fun.
They are real fun
Like
to
I
watch.
and the best, and I've said it. I've always been a sports junkie. My brother knows this. He would make fun of me as I send him a picture on a random Wednesday night, and I'm watching 19 different games or 9 different sports. Baseball has been one of the biggest sports where still I would only watch the Guardians and I would watch highlights. But yeah, I've watched a couple of these games. The Phillies are fun, especially when they're at home. That is an
Yeah.
atmosphere I would love to play in, but not want to play against. Um, are the Rockies worse than the White Sox? I think that's a
No.
fun question because the White Sox are really, really bad. That's who we play. I think the Guardians play tonight or tomorrow. We start that. Is it tonight we start that series? Yeah, tonight we start
7:40.
this series with the White Sox. So get back in your winning ways and go beat up on that bad team. Padres sitting at 500. Dodgers. Can now that he's been sentenced, can Otani finally put this behind him? Did you? I think he has, considering he's leading the majors in like every statistical batting category, and the guy's not even
Yeah.
pitching, man. Like, are you serious? And here, and I'm gonna here, and I'll let um Andrew take this question and read the question when he's done because I'm gonna keep talking about Otani because he's literally back to doing it. Home runs, RBIs, average, like leading the major or at least the National League in everything, crushing the ball. But Ray says Ellie De La Cruz, most exciting player in baseball, enough Otani. I'm not gonna argue that. I won't say he isn't like 1A, 1B.
Yeah, and I think I agree. I think Elliot Cruz is the most exciting player, not just because of how great he does. Like this dude could hit for an inside the Parker, but also hit it 450. I'm pretty sure he did that like a month ago. He's also the most exciting player because of how low his lows can be. There's been times where he'll literally just pick up a ball like middle of the diamond and rifle it 150 miles to the first baseman. And sometimes it'll be right here, but sometimes it's going into row fucking Z, and you're not, no one's catching it. And so while you are watching an incredibly talented player, you are also watching an incredibly young and raw player, and that's what makes him just more exciting, I think, than Otani, because Otani is great in basically every aspect. Ellie, at least you have some variety where you're like, okay, he's batting 4 for 4, but he has 7 errors because he can't like throw a baseball less than 100 miles an
Fun.
hour.
It's fun. It's Russell Westbrook esque. Okay, it's fun. It's a little bit
Yeah.
reckless sometimes. Otani's kind of more of that perfection. I can understand that. I threw that to you because as you were obviously you're back up here in the Cleveland area now. You just spent 5 years in Cincinnati. Nobody's watched more Reds baseball on this podcast than you have. I know you've watched them more than some of the people who are actual Reds fans. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, yeah, the speed for Ellie is it's phenomenal. It's amazing everywhere. The guy is fun to watch. The problem is, I mean, I'll say it. I don't care. He plays in Cincinnati. Nobody cares about the Cincinnati Reds. Sorry. Like if you're a really old school baseball fan, yes, Cincinnati cares about the Cincinnati Reds. If you're a really old school baseball fan, you care about the Cincinnati Reds. But there's a reason why Dodgers games are on Monday Night Baseball, Sunday Night Baseball, and the Reds aren't. So
It's
I
because the
mean, that's
Reds
just
suck. That's the issue.
well, I mean, yeah, that too. But listen, hey, hold on, I got to disagree with you. I was in college when all of us, an entire dorm room of guys, went to our TVs to watch Steven Strasburg pitch for the Washington Nationals when the Washington Nationals were garbage. Okay, if you're that good, they're gonna put you on TV. And Ellie's that good. We don't care about the Cincinnati Reds.
That's fair. I just think I will say though, I do not. I'm not a bias as a Cincinnati, being from Cincinnati. Bias as like an like knowing the history of baseball and knowing like how storied that franchise is. It does kind of, it is weird how
Yeah,
little somebody
I
cares
know.
from how incredible that team is, how incredible that fan base is when that team is good.
100%. And I've spent enough time with you in Cincinnati, around the stadium, at FC Cincinnati games, at Bearcat games. Cincinnati Pride is big time. It's very similar to what you see when you walk around the city of Cleveland, where you see all three teams. Yes, you see predominantly Guardians, Indians, and Browns gear, but the Cavs are there, well represented. It's the same in Cincy. The same way you see the Bearcats, the same way you see the Bengals, same way you see the Reds, and the way y'all show out for FC Cincinnati is for real too. I disagree. Otani is not this generation's Ichiro. Otani is this generation's Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Yeah, I was about to say.
No, and I agree with you, Ray, and I understand. Otani's a monster. I tired of hearing only him with so many solid players around the league, and that's why we want
blame the MLB.
Absolutely, 100%. This is MLB.
Blame the MLB on that.
They actually do have other stars. Jose's a star.
Juan Soto has the second best OBP in the last like 40 years, and there is nothing on him ever. It's disrespectful.
And Stephen A. Smith talked about it, and he got in trouble for it. Yes, it is harder when a lot of these guys don't speak English and don't speak English very well, and that's not just Otani. That we're Cleveland Guardians fans. Home run pitch is a joke, and we all have fun with it. But also part of it plays in that Hosey doesn't speak very good English. So that's part of it. But you fix it. You hire interpreters. I watch enough UFC and watch enough MMA. And these guys are stars regardless. Obviously, Connor's a massive star because Connor can talk, but still, I don't want to hear that. You got plenty of good talent all around this league to be able to talk about it. Get these guys in front of the camera. Get their highlights in front of the cameras.
Yeah,
we're zooming today, bro.
And send them to basketball games, send them to football games, send them to go do stuff. It's not hard. The NBA has perfected that, where they send them to the Met Gala, they send them to premieres of movies, and they just build their popularity, and the MLB just refuses to do that. And I think that's the issue that Ray has, is they're finally doing it with Otani, but just Otani, and not Ellie De La Cruz, not Juan Soto, not Mike Trout for the 13 years he was in the MLB, and they had a Gatorade commercial, and that's about it. That's what we want. We want those stars to shine, but the MLB just doesn't do anything with them.
Caitlin Clark is a bigger star than 99% of the Major League Baseball players.
It's insane. And I mean, the props to her because she deserves it. But these are established stars that you're just not using at all.
I bet my mom knows who Angel Reese is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty sure outside of Guardians players, the average are your hometown team players. Most people can't name baseball players like that. And I know this is contradicting, but this is MLB's fault. And Ray's going to name you half of his fantasy team because he's a degenerate like the rest of us. And he's a fantasy degenerate as he plays in this fantasy league. So I know where he's coming with the base. But no, Drew, you're right. This is on MLB. They have stars. They don't promote them. And they have the distinct advantage over football, the same way basketball does. Excuse me. They talk about it all the time. Why? Sorry, Ray, call me rude. I apologize. The reason, part of the reason Michael Jordan was as big of a star as he was is you could see his face at all times while he plays. Football players are a lot harder when you don't see them. They're less recognizable. Okay. You don't have that in baseball. That's why, Ken Griffey Jr., when baseball was as popular with your Barry Bonds and your Sammy Sosa and your Mark McGwire and those guys, you see them. You have the potential. You have stars. You have finally let these guys actually play with some swagger and play with some fun and not throw baseballs at their head because they look at a home run for longer than 3 seconds. Come on, baseball, do better. We'll do our best, but we can only do so much.
You have 3 months-ish where you have no competition. Basketball is in constant competition with football because of their schedule. Football and college football leagues, they have to deal with basketball. Baseball has no competition through most of June, all of July, and the start of August. You have so much time to do whatever you want because there's no other sports on, but you refuse to do anything about it. And it hurts me because I love baseball so much, and I know how many people would if they just got into it.
It's not even got into it. I don't know many people in general who don't know baseball or don't like their hometown baseball team. I mean, I work at a place that is, that is Steelers fans. There's me, the Cowboys fan. There's obviously a whole crap ton of Browns fans. But obviously there's a bunch of other Steelers fans. There's other teams. I think we've got a Jets fan. We've got other football teams. Basketball wise, majority of the people are either basketball fans or Cavaliers fans. Then the Guardians start playing and everybody's locked in.
Yeah.
Like, so it's this is 100% baseball's fault. You can't find them on TV because they're going bankrupt all the time. It's a mess. So, but there are some quality baseball players. We're going to continue to hammer it because we're going to get to a point for us as a show that all we're going to have is soccer and baseball. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get you familiar with some of these names that you aren't normally familiar with, like we did all college basketball season. So you knew who some of these good teams were and you knew who some of these names were on the basketball side. So, we are flying. I know I already said it, but good show today. We are rolling. All right, we're not done though. You know what time it is. It's time for some footy, baby. I'm gonna get this out of the way right now. Okay. You talk about Manchester United, I'll shut this shit down right now. You understand me? All right, bro. I love you to death. You're my little brother. I'm just okay. All right. Moving on. What? Thank you.
Time for some EPL review.
Absolutely. Oh, you don't want to talk Champions League first?
We'll get into that. I promise.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Ray, it's time for that footy. And hey, I told you he'd be here eventually. Shout out to my guy Nick. Somewhere around where in the world is Carmen? There you go.
You're right, Nick. Just in time.
Just in time for the footy, Nick. You just missed out on your Guardian talk and some MLB talk. I love it. Yeah, somewhere around the Florida Gulf Keys, my guy Nick is coming home to this miserable weather. You actually kind of deserve it because of the post that you put up to your Ohio friends earlier this morning on Facebook, showing your beach as I was sitting in my car in the rain. But yes, we've got some our EPL running. Obviously, Arsenal 3-0 over Bournemouth, Liverpool 4-2 over Spurs, Manchester City over Spurs, Manchester City 5-1 over Wolves. Arsenal continue to lead the table. Liverpool continue to trail behind as Manchester City still have that game in hand, which is most important. Top three thoughts.
Yeah, listen, it was mostly chalk. Everyone won, no movement, but that Manchester City game in hand that we keep talking about, it's being played on Tuesday. This is where we are going to see what the actual scenarios are heading into the final week. This is going to be a lot of fun because I am absolutely ready for the final week of the season. It is going to be just absolutely amazing to watch this go down and see what comes out of this because I'm not sure what's going to come out of this if I'm being completely honest.
There's nobody ready for the last week of the season more than me. Yeah, the game in hand is going to be huge because if both of these teams win out, Manchester City will win a title. If there is a slip up whatsoever and Arsenal wins out, or by City whatsoever and Arsenal win out, they will come away with the Premier League title as well. Their first in 20 something years. I don't actually know if it's been. Oh, it actually has. Well, I don't know, around there, something like that, forever ago. But we've also got some bottom three news. Oh, Nick gave us an update. He said Dusty is landing soon, baby. He just wanted me to do the Dusty impression. I knew that. That's okay. Finish your story, Nick. Finish your story. Come on home. Bottom three thoughts. Those were some big results there. Nottingham Forest 3-1 victory over Sheffield. You already relegated Sheffield United. But 100% a huge result there for Nottingham Forest. Burnley 4-1 lost to Newcastle. That really, really damages their hopes. And Luton Town 1-1 with Everton. That's actually a big result for Luton. They need 3 points. Drew, throw up my big Premier League table when you can. Luton need as many points as they can. But a big results on the bottom, just as the results were at the top. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Nottingham picked up a massive win. That was massive. And even though Luton drew, this means both teams have 2 games left. This means that Luton has to win out and hope Nottingham Forest lose one game and then either draw or lose the last game because if I will find it now, here we go. Because of this goal differential that we're seeing here between the Luton, the last relegated team, and Nottingham Forest, the spot above, it is going to be very, very difficult for Nottingham Forest to lose that goal differential advantage. And so Luton is basically hoping Nottingham Forest, who plays a interesting opponent this week and then will play next week, they're hoping for some big time results for those other teams.
100%. It's points. It's points. And I put you on the spot, and I didn't realize you don't have a full Premier League table, do you?
Listen,
That's okay. That's
listen.
okay. That's okay.
Whatever happens between 4 and 16 just doesn't matter right now. I'll put it up at the end of the season.
That's what I was gonna say, and I felt bad because as soon as I said it to you, I was like, wait a minute. But that's okay. Yeah, we are gonna have a full breakdown of the table. The last day of the season, when all of the games are played together, we are going to have either as it's Championship Sunday, as it's called. We're going to have either a live stream during the games or a live little pod recap afterwards. We'll have a full table breakdown, and we'll be able to do something really fun because me and my brother are this is how we operate in terms of being soccer fans. Before the season started and before there was ever a podcast, we predicted a full Premier League table together. I'm pretty sure we still have that saved in our group chat, and we will have to go back and revisit that and see who finished where, what, and how. But yeah, massive things at the bottom. Nottingham Forest and Luton need points. They need Nottingham Forest to drop points. Period. End of story.
Yep. And Burnley, just to put this up. Oh yeah, we'll go back. Burnley, I think they're going down. It's not looking good.
It's all but there.
Yeah, and then if we're looking at the top of the table, like I said, it's pretty chalk. But like I said, Manchester City, they're playing on Tuesday. So if they win, they are up by 2 points. They are top of the table. If they get a draw, they are still second due to goal differential. And if obviously they lose, that is massive for Arsenal that just needs to win their final 2 games to become champions. But it is still going to be a tough race. And I want to just put this out there because it's in the chat. Nick, you missed it. This is the exact conversation we had about baseball. They just don't want their fans to watch games. And so that's just how it is.
That was for the Cavaliers, though. Just so you know.
But
it makes no difference. There was some other results that happened in the Premier League this week, but if you want to talk about yours, you can. You talk about mine. I'll punch you through this computer.
No, listen, we'll throw it up there. I had a great win this week. I was actually very surprised. However, if we move on over to the next week, this is where the classic Chelsea will lose to Nottingham Forest because that's just what we do. And so we actually have some pretty big matchups here. You are playing current leaders, Arsenal, that could potentially ruin their title chances. You are at home, so we'll see. Manchester City is at Fulham.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Liverpool, obviously, we most likely is out of the race, is at Aston Villa. And then Luton Town play a team that just got beaten 5-0 against West Ham, but it is obviously a tough game. So some pretty big games this week.
Yeah, I'm already moving on. I don't have a fit center back. Okay, I started Johnny Evans and Casemiro at center back in the past game. Okay, at least my future player scored. The second time this year, a player who would be wearing my jersey next year scored against me. First, it was your Cole Palmer. Second was Crystal Palace's Mikel Elise. Love it.
Yeah, I hate it. But what you just said, the injury issues. So they actually, the Premier League just came out with a table of teams that have been affected most by injury, and this is due to like minutes played and like minutes missed and games missed. Your Manchester United was 4th on that list. Chelsea was number 1 on that list as they have lost a total of, I think it was 29 games added up due to injury, and so.
The only thing I would trade you is number 1. Mine has been strict. Well, not strictly, but majority to the defensive end. Like the way my center backs I don't remember the last time Luke Shaw. I don't think Malacia has played at all this year. Not one time. I don't remember it since the preseason. So it's a lot tougher because yours were a lot more towards the beginning and in the middle of the season, and you've gotten healthier as the run-in has come in, and I would have appreciated that kind of shit because we have just been a mash unit almost kind of all year. It's been awful. I hate it. I don't even know what I want with my coach. I don't know. I know.
Well,
I can't even start a new FIFA career because I don't even know who I want to buy on there. Okay, I don't know anymore.
You know what? We're gonna move on. Because We have some Champions League to talk about because,
Absolutely, we do.
my Lord, were those games good. I'll throw the things up here. I want to touch on that top game first because I have a little bit of a rant for the second game. So let's talk about the first game.
Okay. I mean, the controversy was in the first game, so I guess we'll get that hot and heavy. Yeah. Real Madrid advanced over 2-1 in the game over Bayern Munich, 4-3 aggregate overall. Man, you listen, death taxes, Real Madrid winning in the Champions League, man. If you're new to the footy game and if you're new to I'm sorry, if you're new to the footy game and if you're new to just soccer in general, Real Madrid don't lose in the Champions League. There's a reason they've been to 14 Champions League finals. It's ridiculous. They are amazing. Bayern Munich were up 1-0, had this game in the bag, and Real Madrid scored 2 quick goals to take the lead. There was a horrific, controversial offsides at the end of this game. To clue you in, basically a ball was played in and the referee raised his flag and called offsides. Referee blew the whistle. Play kind of continued for a second. All of the players continued to play, and Bayern Munich scored. When you looked at the replay, it wasn't offsides, and the referee should have let the play continue and then let VAR sort it out. It's what officials are told to do now, and he blew it.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. There is 2 frames of mind you could put this. Either the soccer gods are a higher power, really like Real Madrid, or the soccer gods / higher power really hate Harry Kane. And I don't know which one to believe. I think the Harry Kane one is funnier, but my Lord, this game just reeked of Harry Kane just bottling it like he was at Tottenham and Real Madrid coming back because they're Real Madrid. It was basically the story of that Real Madrid and Harry Kane's whole career.
I mean, and if to speed some people up, because we don't like all too inside footy jokes that nobody understands. Harry Kane is one of the most accomplished English strikers of all time in terms of goals. In terms of trophies won, he sits at a big fat whopping 0 because he's never won a thing for club or country. He then left England to go to Germany to play for the biggest team in Germany. And in their domestic league, a team went undefeated and did not lose a game. So they did not win their domestic trophy. They were dumped out of their domestic cup. And now they
division team
by a 3rd division team. And now in the Champions League semifinal, not only did he lose, he had a chance to play at Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium's in England, his home country. He was also subbed out with, 25, 30 minutes to go. And damn, they could have used him.
Yeah.
This is
it was rough.
Fucking hilarious. So that is that one. And here, so I'll get this one out of the way and I will let you rant. Borussia Dortmund, shout out to our guy Tyler, Mr. Marzinski. His Borussia Dortmund move on 1-0 against PSG, 2-0 aggregate. An amazing performance by Borussia Dortmund. Much love to them. Moving on to their first Champions League final since they played at Wembley Stadium. Obviously, they will take on Champions League legends Real Madrid. The floor is yours, kid.
All right. So every year there is a team that feels like it is their destiny to win a Champions League. You had, I will admit it, Manchester City last year with the treble. To go a couple years back, and I'm not being biased here, that was Chelsea that year where we were finished 6th in the table and we had nothing to play for. This year, Dortmund, you are the team of destiny. I know it's not a good of a story with Bayern being eliminated, but now you face a team that is the face of the Champions League. You are the heavy underdog, but you have been this entire tournament. You made it out of the group of death with Newcastle and PSV and AC Milan. You beat the current Eredivisie champions PSV. You came back to beat Atletico Madrid. You shut out an offensive juggernaut in PSG. Just one more challenge remains. exercise those demons from 2013 and cover Wembley Stadium in black and yellow and get it done for the entirety of the football world.
Wow. They have a thing for Borussia Dortmund, what they call the yellow wall. It is a just sea of yellow and black and gold, a sea where there are waves. Borussia Dortmund. Don't just ride the wave. Create your own wave and take down Real Madrid. Product placement. Sure. I mean, man, I would, yeah, absolutely. Let's go. I think if you're a Borussia Dortmund fan, you absolutely wanted Bayern Munich over Real Madrid for no other. Well, not just because nobody wants to play Real Madrid in the Champions League. They wanted that. They wanted that revenge. They wanted that back. Good luck, Dortmund. I would have put my money on them over Borussia or over Bayern Munich. I don't know now against Real Madrid, who's now going to have a chance to rest up and be. Oh man, good luck. But that'll be fun. We will do something as that gets. Champions League final is sometime here in the summer. I don't remember an exact date, but we've got
last week of May.
Oh, there we go. Last week of May. But yeah, there you go. Your Champions League. Hey, we didn't talk Kentucky Derby, but did you win?
So my specific bet, just a touch, did not. But the advice I gave was true because
100%.
The winner was a 17-1 odds. And I told you between that 10 and 20 range, if you bet on it and you listen to me, you made some money. And if you didn't, that's on you.
Listen, I made some money. That's all I'm going to say. All right. What I do with my $12.47 is what I do on my $12.47, baby. All right. Ray said you said 15. Ray calling you out.
We'll have to check. We'll have to check the tapes.
We're gonna check the tapes. But either way,
I'm gonna watch some film and get back to you.
You're gonna watch some
Hugh Jackson style.
All right, Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, you ain't never coming back to that. All right, my bad. Back to the footy. Let's talk some MLS. We had some good results, some funny results.
Results.
I want to mention the first funny one, and that would be San Jose 3, LAFC 1. Always good when your crosstown rival lose
to the worst team in the league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. Some other results that I thought were good. Well, not good, but interesting. Inter Miami is your MLS Cup favorites. I know it's just May and the playoffs don't start until October, but if everyone stays healthy, no defense is stopping them.
But damn.
Yeah, a hat trick and an assist from Suarez, a goal and 5 assists from Messi. This team is just disgusting, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it.
No, and then they might sign Angel Di Maria at some point here during the summer. It's fucking ridiculous.
Just break all the transfer rules in the MLS.
Absolutely. They're going to anyways. They're going to give Beckham whatever he wants. Meanwhile, LAFC, is it this apparently this Kevin De Bruyne not signing up with Manchester City and coming to the MLS rumor is seriously heating up. The problem is it's heating up for him to go to Toronto, and that's just so disappointing.
So is Marco Reus. I've heard a big, rumors that he come. And Tyler, I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but Columbus really want him.
Can somebody come to LA? Hello, LA Galaxy. Here we are. Bright and shiny for you. Beautiful team of Kobe Jones, David Beckham, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Robbie Keane, a legacy of historically great players. Come on down. Chicharito, come on down to LA. There, not here because I'm in Cleveland. But yeah, Minnesota 2-1 over Atlanta. Minnesota continues to kind of ride high there. Bro, I gotta put you on. I got bone to pick with you. Talk about not just your red car affair. You got to talk about the injury. I wasn't gonna let this go.
Was so okay. Yeah, first we'll talk about the injury because this happened beforehand. So I was ecstatic that a striker scored last week. I was absolutely ecstatic. However, our other striker decided that he was very angry that the other striker scored and decided to go out partying and wound up getting in a fight. Now, this usually isn't an issue for a professional sports player as they are usually, pretty solid and pretty big. However, the fight he decided to, the person he decided to pick a fight with was a professional boxer who proceeded to break his jaw, and he is currently out 4 to 6 weeks. So that started the weirdness of this week, and it continued into this game. But Ken, I know you have some thoughts about this.
Well, I have two thoughts. First of all, come on, dude. Like you got to quote to in here. Yeah, first of all, yes, raise laughing emojis are need to go up on the screen while I say this. To quote a great person with my namesake, and that would be the great Kenny Rogers. You got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them, baby. Okay, you got to know when to walk away. Okay, and that is when you walk away, my guy. And here, it's 50. I don't even know exactly how many years passed. So I'll make fun of myself on a story because your brother used to think he was your brother used to think he was bulletproof too, and I used to think that I was the baddest man on the planet because I had been in a couple scraps in my day. Get to college, guy walks past my room, makes a smart ass comment to me, and I'm like, what? And I step out in the hallway, and he's like, I said what I said, and I was like, well, say it again. I want the smoke. Not in those kind of words from neither of us. It was plenty of other words. And he started walking towards me, and a bunch of people separated us. I mean, rooms spilled out. There was everybody's room was open, so they heard us arguing. Everybody pushed us away and separated us, and didn't let anything happen. And we later apologized to each other, and basically we were like, he was like, I should have never came by your room like that, and I was like, yeah, I should have never came back. Blah blah blah. Long story short, somebody was like, hey man, you crazy? And I'm like, what? No, I'm from Bedford. Yeah, I'm crazy, but not Cleveland, Bedford. And he goes, that dude's a Golden Glove boxer. And I was like, well, nobody could have told me that beforehand. Nobody could have let me know.
That's why they separated you. That's why they said, we gotta get this man out of here. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Before I get pieced up over something that wasn't even my fault. But yeah, come on, man. That was not a good choice. Not a good choice. But yeah.
All right.
My turn. My LA Galaxy.
No. We get to talk about my game. We talked about my player getting his
boy getting knocked out,
jaw rocked. The game was also very weird because the only goal was a 17-second goal from Lucho Acosta, and then proceeded a 23rd minute red card for Orlando, and then in the span of 22 minutes from Brett Halsey, that came on in the 56th minute, proceeded to get an immediate yellow as he came on, and then received a second yellow in the 78th minute, keeping him on the field for a whopping 22 minutes. Good win, though. Good win. Still won the game, so that's all that matters.
Hey, yeah, I guess. Good job there. My team also did something it hasn't done in a very long time, and that's kept a clean sheet. Galaxy 0, Seattle 0. No, we did not get any goals, but we kept a clean sheet. I was pretty okay with it, honestly, because coming off the loss, come back, don't give up any goals. The commitment to defense, 19 shots, only 4 on target from Seattle. The offense will get rolling at some point again, and when they do, hopefully this defensive consistency stays. Moving into next week, speaking of staying committed, my Galaxy have Real Salt Lake. That's a big one for me. Need to, like I said, stay committed on defense and be more clinical in the final third for my Galaxy, and that will be right back to rolling. I think we did slip to third in the West, but
we'll get there.
There we go.
So
who you got?
So according to the MLS and on all their websites,
hold on,
it's rivalry week.
It is, because there's only one game that matters this weekend, my guy.
So, but hold on, real quick. I want to put this out, right? Yep. Portland versus Seattle is coming, which is massive rivalry. However, someone please give this rivalry a better name, please. They're like it's the oh god, it's something. Well, literally, I looked it up on Wikipedia, and they have a nickname for it, but it comes up as Seattle Sounders versus Portland Timbers rivalry. Give me a better nickname, because the nickname that they gave it anyways is bad anyways.
Keep talking.
It's terrible. But then later in the week, you have that, and then FC Dallas and Austin also play. But why? Like I said, it's not rivalry because we're saying it. It's rivalry because the MLS is saying it on their websites and everything. why aren't you playing LAFC? That makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Cascadia Cup. That's what that was
Yeah,
just
like terrible
awful.
name. Awful name.
I don't know, honestly. I mean, I was all ready for it. I mean, it was supposed to be rivalry week, and I'm like, oh shit, we got LAFC already. Let's do this. I mean, Atlanta versus DC. I know that's still weird, but I mean, we have New York isn't playing New York. New York is playing Toronto. The Canadian teams aren't playing each other. Colorado already played whoever their rival is. Or Real Salt Lake. It's very confusing. I 100% get you. Portland and Seattle is great. Columbus and Seattle, or Columbus and Cincinnati, that's what I was referring to in terms of there's only one game this week. But yeah, I don't know. You can't do this with me because if we're going to start being critical of the MLS, this spot's going to go on for a long time. So,
all right, then we'll go into the biggest game of the week then.
Let's do it.
Because this is going to be a great game. FC Cincinnati is finally finding its footing after a rough start offensively, but now this is a litmus test on how good you are against a very bitter rival that kind of had your number, then you took advantage, and then they had immediate response in the playoffs. This is your first game since that. What are you going to do? Now with the Crew, they've been struggling in the league, but have a spot in the Champions Cup final later this month. They are going to get up for this game, but what Columbus Crew are we going to see? The one that's running roughshod through the Champions League, or the one with 5 straight draws in the league that's currently 5th in the table? I don't know, but whatever happens, this game is going to be fireworks, and I cannot wait to come on here and either talk all my shit to the Columbus Crew fans in the chat or not say a word and run a 30-second MLS review next Thursday.
Kind of like I did the Premier League one today. I understand.
Exactly.
Second and fifth, respectively, in the table. Not that would have mattered anyways between these two teams. Going to be an awesome one. What time off the top of your head, do you know when?
7:45 on Saturday.
Beautiful. Only available on Apple TV. Congratulations, MLS, on that one. Bro, you want to swing through and watch it, you can. But yeah, that'll be a big one. And hopefully my Galaxy continue to get the job done as well, as we already talked about. Inter Miami really starting to pace themselves away from everybody in the East. And then I told you there was a shakeup a little bit here in the West as my Galaxy have kind of floated back down to earth. Sit there in third. Minnesota continuing their scorching hot run. And your current number one team in the West, Real Salt Lake, who can just continue to get result after result. So that will do it for your American Soccer League, but that doesn't do it for your Americans. We know how we finish the show. It is time for Americans abroad. However, I mean, I think it's, yeah, you don't get to start it today. I'm going to start it today. Yeah,
so long.
With the record scratch, I'm stealing some thunder on this one because I got 3 more Straub Bros of the week. And you get the solo segment all the time, so I'm stepping on some toes. I want to give a shout out from the Straub Bros Sports Show to some champion Americans: Serginho Dest, Ricardo Pepi, Malik Tillman, winners of the Eredivisie with PSV. Congratulations, champioles, ole, ole, ole. Shout out to those guys. And we also wish Serginho Dest a speedy recovery from his torn ACL. He will miss Copa. All right, bring us back up.
Yes, and we will do this right here. And hey, it was a great start because top on my list in the game that won them the champions, Eredivisie Championship, Ricardo Pepi had an assist in a 4-2 win. He finally comes back into the picture. Like you said, all congrats to those guys. They were instrumental in them winning that league and just bigger and brighter from them moving forward, especially Malik Tillman right now, because that man is shining and he is going to have some offers coming into this summer.
Absolutely.
Next, Zach Booth had an assist. The younger brother strikes again, as he always does. It wasn't a 4-1 loss, but it was still a very good one. He came back from injury a little bit ago, finally getting his footing, finally getting some starts and doing really well. And in terms of assists on this page, Chris Richards had an assist in a 4-0 win against a team that I don't know about. some random team that is, not going to be mentioned on this podcast, but a good assist.
Yeah, this week. Moving on.
Yes. And I will say we didn't have goals this week, but we had 3 more assists this week. Haji Wright, he got an assist in the 1-2 loss in Coventry City. Their season comes to an end. He finished with 19 goals and 7 assists this year. Barring an incredible performance by another U.S. player, he'll have the most goals and most goal contributions by a U.S. player abroad this season. An amazing season for him.
Shout out to you, Haji.
Absolutely incredible. Christian Pulisic is finally back in the Americans Abroad segment. He got an assist in a 3-3 draw. I think, AC Milan is still holding firm onto second. They are not going to catch Internacional in the table, but they are still doing a really good season. We'll have Champions League football again next season. And finally, another player we haven't heard for in a minute.
Whoa, what?
Brendan Aronson got an assist. It wasn't a loss 3-4, but listen, anytime you see Brendan Aronson on one of these segments, it's always a pleasure because we never see him on these segments. So good for him. And a good way to end the season.
Absolutely. Welcome back there.
And that totals 46 assists by U.S. players in Europe so far this season. The only non-Europe nations that have more are Brazil and Argentina. So, listen, we may not be getting goals all the time, but we do get some goals. We do get some assists. We have a lot of good playmakers. Let's just hope that our head coach knows how to use all those playmakers when it comes time for important games. But that is not now. That is months from now.
That's that 100%. Got plenty of playmakers. Got just 1 or 2 more goal scorers. And hey, did I mention that nobody covers soccer like the Straub Bros Sports Show? And that just proves it right there with all of that stuff in that entire segment. Whew, that'll do it. That will do it here. I want to thank everybody again for rocking with us this week. We appreciate you. We love it. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the comments. You guys were in strong again in the comment sections and in the views. We always appreciate that love and hitting that 7 mark. Oh, I was on time today, baby. Got you guys all done. As soon as you get off with us, you can turn right into the playoffs, NBA and NHL. I'll be doing it. Don't worry. But the 2-6 Sports Network, that is where you can find us. You can follow and like on Facebook. Too soon. You can like and subscribe on YouTube to find us and the rest of the 216 lineup. Cue the graphic. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth. The Jay Rich Show, who just dropped a new episode this week. The Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee. I think it's 2, maybe 3 episodes he dropped this week. Outside Interference and the Straub Bros Sports Show, Straub Bros Sports Show, me and little bro. You can find us all over the place. You can find us on TikTok at the SBSS, on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Straub Bros Sports, and Spotify to catch up on anything that you may have missed. Once again, a big shout out KZ Productions letting us post into their Facebook and YouTube as well. I've seen a couple people through the thing pop up through theirs. So we appreciate you guys rocking with us. Hey, appreciate you as always, Ray, for rocking with us. And our big shout out to Austin at Create Your Own Wave Clothing. Follow them on Instagram, Create Your Own Wave 2021. Get the merch itself at cyowapparel.myshopify.com. I love saying it. Don't ride the wave. Create your own wave. You become a Straub Bro of the week. And just your own boss ass person. Bro, final shout outs.
Yeah, listen, hey, shout out to everyone watching, everyone commentating, everyone that's going to be listening later on. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy it. It's going to be rainy, but you know what? Some people can use some indoors. So just stay inside, snuggle up, watch some playoffs, watch some baseball, and just enjoy the company around you.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better again. Once again, like I said, thanks for tuning in and watching and rocking with the Straub Bros Sports Show. And please remember always to
love yours.